When the League of Nations finally arranged the World Disarmament Conference for 1932, expectations rose.
And we are going to go to Geneva to get the nations of the world to join in and reduce this enormous, disgraceful burden of armaments which we are now bearing from one end of the world to the other.
In Geneva, the conference took delivery of mass petitions collected from around the world. The millions of signatures were designed to put pressure on governments and show how people expected them to banish war.
I went to one of the opening sessions of the conference when people came from all over the world petitioning for disarmament, and it was meant to be a tremendous moment. We all had great hopes that there really was going to be very substantial disarmament.
Australie, 1102-108. Australia, 112,108. And Fiji,
the final tally was announced as the conference began.
United States of America, 1,135,453, and Hawaii, 130.
There are lunatics in every country who really want the attempt to organize peace to be abandoned. No one doubts that disarmament is possible, but the common man wants to know whether the governments with great military, naval and air forces are really in earnest in their desire for peace. If they are, a disarmament treaty can be framed. And if it is accepted, the whole international atmosphere will change as if by magic.
But international idealism clashed with old-style national self-interest. Arriving in New York, Poland's former Prime Minister Paderewski explained the problem.
Mr. Paderewski, what is your opinion about disarmament and the recent efforts in order to eliminate the possibilities of war?
It's a very good intention, very fine idea, but a very difficult task. Everyone expects the other fellow to disarm, but is not ready to disarm himself.
The trust in what democracy and reason might do was increasingly shaken. The Germans, still bitter at their treatment, brought a new leader to power, Adolf Hitler. The Italians, also dissatisfied with the peace, were given the same assurances. Mussolini promised them a new Roman Empire. Millions of Italians rejoiced in the seeming miracle of fascism. In 1935, Mussolini's forces invaded Ethiopia. The Ethiopians and their emperor stood no chance against the modern army. Though the League of Nations issued resolution after resolution, the Italians defied them.
The League of Nations, a grave disturbance. Today, Haile Selassie comes to plead for his lost empire. He wants them to make Mussolini give up Ethiopia.
His Majesty, Negus Haile Selassie, I call upon the first delegate of Ethiopia.
Italian newspapermen are ready for an outbreak against the emperor whose country their country has taken, waiting for his first word.
From the platform.
Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le...
Trying to quell the disturbance, lights turned out. The disturbers ejected, arrested, and he is able to make his appeal.
ምክንያቱም ወታደሮቹ ቦምቡ በወደቀ ጊዜ ጋዙን ነፋስ እስኪወስደው ድረስ መበታተኑን ስላወቁበት ነው።
But the League lacked the will to help the Emperor. The failure to save Ethiopia came just as the League moved into new headquarters, a monument to the dream of Woodrow Wilson. The magnificent building was said to be specially designed for peacemaking. But in the meantime, the League had been defied by Mussolini's invasion of Ethiopia, as well as Japan's seizure of Manchuria. America still wasn't a member. Germany had been admitted, but Hitler had taken it out again. In a League film made to enlist public support, an official listed the backlog of work.
Political problems are dealt with by the Council or the Assembly, and for this purpose, the political section prepares the work and executes the decisions. Here are some recent problems: the Sino-Japanese disputes, the Ethiopia-Italy disputes, the Chaco disputes, the Letitia disputes, the problems of Danzig, the settlement of the Assyrians, the Saar plebiscite, and the return of the territory to Germany.
With the League's failure to deal with the dictators, the idea of disarmament was dying.
At the new home of the League of Nations in Geneva, the chief news is of nations arming. It is announced that Britain will spend more on armaments. Why? Because the whole world is arming. Japan demands parity on the sea with Britain and the United States. She wishes to supplement her great military strength by greater sea power. Germany is building aeroplanes, commercial craft, but perhaps convertible. Her right to rearm is being tacitly recognized. Aeroplanes for Italy, thousands of them lined up in spectacular array. Mussolini has fostered an air force which challenges comparison with the finest in the world. France maintains her military strength, trains artillery, mechanizes her powerful army. France demands security and will not disarm. And Britain, long content with dominance on the sea, contemplates bigger estimates for all three services.